You're Dutch. You're supposed to be down at the sea floor.
Aloha and welcome back everybody. The last time we walked straight for the last eruption path of Maui, and this time I followed the trail back to the culprit, Mount Haleakala, the volcano. So right now I'm on my way to Haleakala National Park. This is the park of the volcano, which you can hike through and hike around, because it's well, it's officially dormant, but it has not been active as I think for 500 years or something like that. So very unlikely that something will happen. You can even hike through the crater sort of, so that's how quasi dead it is basically. So to get there we first obviously have to drive up. I already drove a little bit. And the last bit of this is a zigzaggy way up, so let's see how that works. So we're still climbing upwards. We are reaching the cloud levels now. You can see them there. That's the bottom of a cloud. So we're getting higher and higher. You feel it in your ears, you know, your ears start popping. I don't know how high we are because everything is in feet and I have no idea what a feet is in meters. So hopefully later when I'm up there actually at the top, there is either a conversion or I can just quickly Google what it actually is. But yeah, just winding our way upwards. Well, we are inside the park, and luckily a friend of mine, a new made friend on this island, Joshua, he gave me his annual members card, which I think is like $55 a year or something. As I could see on this card, actually, it says it here. Annual pass 55, yeah, instead of I think $30. Well, that's very nice of him, very nice. But apparently it's ID matched, but apparently you can sign it too. So obviously my friend's signature is on it, and a second person can sign it. So this ranger just told me, yeah, if you want you can sign it too, and it becomes your card too officially. I was like, well, sure, why not? So yeah, we are inside the official park. And let's get going to the visitor center first. So here we are at the summit of Haleakala, which is over there, and it's roughly 3,000 meters. 3,000 meters. It's beautifully quiet here. So I'm gonna make my way up to the summit, the summit, which is over there. Well, we made it to the top of Mount Haleakala, and we are at the moment at 3,000 meters. 3,000 meters. It is the highest ascent you can make in the quickest time, apparently, in the world. So, yeah, without knowing it, you actually go up quite a bit, and it's beautiful. Just look. So that's a big island with Kona and Hilo, big island, and here we have the crater. And there we have an observatory. So of course this is a great area to stargaze and do research about it. So it seems like they have various telescopes. So the biggest one is obviously that one. And they have several smaller ones. from what I can see, they have 4, 5, 6, 7 smaller ones. Maybe another one behind the building. And yeah, of course there is no light pollution around here, especially not this altitude. The islands don't have very big cities around here for it to pollute with all the light. So it's perfect conditions to look up in the sky and see what else there is beyond this planet, of course. So yeah, here we have the observatories indeed. Well, the largest scope can track objects as small as a basketball, more than, well, 20,000 miles. That is quite amazing, quite amazing. Well, I'm gonna have a look around. So when you get up here, you have various stages of elevation, I guess you could say. The first one is the visitor center where I started off, and also where the gate is of this national park. That's all the way down here. Then we have the visitor center specifically for this top, for the summit. That one is open from the morning until noon, so it's already closed now, for example. That one is over here. And then we have the actual summit. As you can see, the one behind me. And those are the various stages. Along the way, from the main visitor center, you have to get up here, which is another more or less half-an-hour drive. And along that route, you also have moments to stop and start hikes and trails and stuff. With this one being the last one, and this one also have various hikes. One of those hikes being going straight through the crater. I will see how much I can do because the sun sets relatively in 2 hours. And then I also have to get down again. But I'm just definitely going to be here for sunset, because why else would you be here? It's either sunrise or sunset. So let's do a little bit of a hike. I'm going to start the descent into the volcano, more or less, into the crater. It's a much bigger walk than I'm probably going to do, because this is basically what you can do here. At the moment I'm here, and you can go all the way down there, down there, down there. You could technically go there, there, right? Many trails around here. This particular one is 6.3 kilometers, which is all going down. But then you have to come up again. And considering that the air here is much thinner, you have to think twice about what you're doing, obviously. This is a camping site in a cabin. That's for if you really want to go on a long hike and you want to sleep there. That's definitely very smart to do. You need to, of course, book something like, I think it was $75 a night or something per person, which is quite reasonable. Its maximum stay, I think, was 3 days or 3 nights or something, which is reasonable. But yeah, doing any of this in a day, it's quite hard. So I'm gonna see how far I get, and try not to collapse from this thin air. Here we are at the start of this trail, and now of course you have some information. So this was what a volcano once. Doesn't maybe look like it now, because most of it has eroded. There's never an implosion, explosion or whatsoever. It's simply erosion from the wind and from the ice. So from freezing and falling, freezing and falling, this creates friction and motion, right? So freezing means that it's expanding. When it's falling again, it loses this. And that back and forward creates erosion,
breaks the rocks slowly. And apparently in the last 1,000 years, which in geology terms is very small, there were 7 eruptions here. So in our lifespan, of course, we would probably not see that, but in the lifespan of geology and the universe, it's very small and it happens quite often. So here is the original profile. This is what we have now. That's what it was. So a lot has changed, and they maybe think that this could end up like the other side of the island, where it is lush and green on one side and, well, kind of barren on the other. But it could maybe have the same ending, who knows. Well, let's get down this trail. I'm not wearing my summer gear as usual, my shorts or my short-sleeved shirts, because we are obviously at 3,000 meters of elevation. That means it is quite chilly up here. I don't know exactly what the temperature is now, but it feels roughly around 20 degrees sort of ish. That's when the sun is out, of course. So I have my long sleeve pants and long sleeve shirt plus a jacket, which for this temperature is quite nice. Some people are still walking with their shorts, which is fine during the day maybe, but at sunset or sunrise it's way colder up here. That's why people even come up with jumpers, for example, or maybe scarves or something, because it's definitely a very big difference, literally night and day. So that's why you should come prepared for anything, also even for rain, because as you can see there's nothing to hide around here except if you're inside your car. So if you get caught in one of these trails down there with some surprise rain or anything unexpected, yeah, you're gonna be either wet and cold. So keep that in mind, be aware of where you're going, and enjoy. We're on. From here you can see the rest of the trek going down there all the way. See people walking here and there. But it goes all the way down. You're really going to the floor of the summit, you know, like it's really at ground level. You can see those over there, the white lines over there. From here it looks very accessible, but it's very far away. It's very far away, and you also have to go back up again. I will go a little bit more down, I think. I still have some energy, I think, for this. I will find out later if I did or not. And I have still some time to kill, so let's go down more and more. Oh, this is the stop I'm stopping at before going back up, because it's definitely going to be a climb, I think, and I also want to be on time for the sunset. But yeah, I'm far from being down on the ground level, as you can see. It's a very long trip down, and you can still see going that way, and there you see paths. So this is definitely not something you just do. I think it said it takes up to 1 or 2 hours, or mostly 2 hours, to make such a loop. as go for most of the trails around here, I think it was. You can do half a day trails or full day trails. But yeah, for now it's okay. I mean, to be fair, you don't have to complete this entire trail. It's not like you're gonna see much new things, because you can already see everything, right? So I can see already everything from here. In different trails, it's different because you actually encounter vegetation and animals, more diverse things to see, and many times you're like maybe in between the trees and stuff. So that's a different kind of a trail. You're doing it for a different reason. This obviously is for the uniqueness of being in a crater. That's why you're here. So for me, it would personally be fine just to be here, not to finish this trail for the sake of just finishing the trail. But of course, if you want to, you can have that cabin all the way down there. So from up here, you can go to all the way over there, where we see the clouds and etc. Around there is a cabin that you can sleep and stay at, and that's definitely, I don't know, I guess half a day or something to get there probably. Then from there you can also go down, because this national park is not just the crater. There's also another part connected to it, which is one of the slopes going towards the the southeast basically of the island. So from my point of view, on the right side, it goes down all the way to, well, to the ocean again basically, which is also an option to do. That is also a trail. You can go from here and then down, or from there up to here. It's obviously quite a climb, and that's why that cabin is quite a good thing, because I don't think many people can do that in an entire day. So yeah, it's again quite astonishing how many things can grow in such an altitude. So you see some scrubs and here and there. There you can see green already, a little bit of green over here coming from the slopes. And down there, of course, it becomes more and more green. And in the distance over there, we can see actual scrubs. So also when you come up here, you can see the difference. You know, you really go through the different environment types that you can have. So first you go through some foresty areas, kind of almost European almost, as you would say, and you come more towards the shrublands of like alpine kind of conditions, and then you really come to this sort of almost arctic looking desert almost, which is the top. Yeah, and the silence here is just incredible. So much silence. It's almost like you're in a cave. You know, if you've ever been in a cave, it's super silent. And here it is so silent. There's no wind, nothing. You just hear some people talking that are walking around here. Everything echoes, of course. So you feel like you're supposed to actually whisper, like I'm almost doing, because everything is loud. What you're doing, any noise you make is loud. It's beautiful. Beautiful bliss, you know. Nothing. Just a fly. Just enjoy the silence. Beautiful, beautiful. Well, let's start going back. Been here. It is thinner here, for sure. I just did this little bit from there to here. Yeah. Well, at least I didn't go too far. Should be okay. Whew. Also considering that I'm Dutch, right? We live mostly below sea level in, well, half the country does. So as much as your lungs can be trained for altitude, right? The average person has some kind of an altitude where they live. We live in minus, so my lungs are trained in minus altitude, basically. That's how low we are in the Netherlands. So that is how not prepared my lungs are. My body is probably like, what the hell are you doing? You're not supposed to be this high. You're Dutch. You're supposed to be down at the sea floor. Why are you here? So yeah, time to put some evolution back into the Dutch bodies. Maybe I grow some new genes, who knows? Almost there. Just one more turn and that's it. It's crazy, you can see where I came from. Just there. Just there. And it looks like nothing. Of course, you're like, oh, you know, you can do that. Obviously I stopped there on purpose because I knew it's gonna be harder to get up. But I'm just talking about the fact how deceiving it is. You think, oh, I can see it, so it's nearby. Same goes for down there. You're like, oh, I can see that. It's not that far. You know, we tend to think like as long as you can see something, it's not that far. But that's your mind playing tricks on you. I'm still seeing the people walking that I came past going down. 1, 2. Don't know how far down they went, but of course the further you go, the harder it's gonna be to get up. So they probably had a much harder hike than I did, and that's maybe why they are still over there. Chilly up here, we're out of the sun. So that's why I got the jacket on, of course. I also closed it now, because you're definitely gonna sweat. Sweat and cold wind is a mix for disaster. So be smart about that. I'm almost at the last one. And then I can finally have a look at the sunset, because you can see already how far it is. You can just see the tops from here. And before you could see the entire valley in sunlight. So, gonna be right on time to get up there again and then be sun-kissed by the sun and warmed by it after this climb. It's almost like a little reward, right? So let's get going. We are on top again. So let's go towards the sun finally. Let's get warmed up. So there he is. The sun. Good old sun. Whole sky is filled with clouds. It's completely filled with clouds. You can see it. Everything is full of clouds. So from here, we supposedly, normally of course, can see the rest of the island plus the other islands on the other side. So before we could see the big island, and from this angle you can see, I forgot the name, starts with an M, the other island. And you can still see a little bit of the tops of the other mountain ridge of Maui. So over there you see something poking out. That is the other part of the island, that's the opposite side. And the rest is all filled in clouds. Well, as beautiful as this is, I'm gonna start going down. These people are not going down now, but when the sun is down, everybody's gonna go down. So I'm gonna be before the crowds, and also because I have to get going. And I will still see this, of course, when I'm driving downwards. So I hope I'm gonna beat these people, so I don't get rushed or something, or traffic jammed or whatever. I've never had an electric car before, so everything is quite new to me. So obviously there is a range for these vehicles, unlike with, you know, normal cars, fuel cars. Here there is of course a speedometer and something I guess you could call a range odometer or something, just something that tells you the range of the charge that it has at the moment, so how far it can get. So in the beginning, obviously I just thought, okay, what it says is what the maximum is at the moment, but then I noticed it will actually fluctuate. So apparently, of course, if you go up, it will use more energy than if you will go downhill. That goes for anything, of course, for humans or for cars. So I actually went quite a bit with this car now, and it even said on the website that for this particular park you should watch out for electrical vehicles because there's nothing up the mountain that can charge your vehicle, and some vehicles got stuck there. So obviously I charged my vehicle to the max, of course, before I left. And yeah, even though on the miles it doesn't say that it's very far mile wise to go up here, just I don't know how many it was, but it's not so much. But then in the end I had, when I was at the top, 36 miles left to drive. But my logic was like, okay, but that's now I'm up. So that means that if I go down, it will sort of recharge itself, or the range just becomes larger because I'm going down. So technically I'm not using anything. And in fact, I seem to be right, because at the moment, instead of like 35 before, I now have 85 miles radius. And it seems to just slowly increase the more I actually go downhill. So it was a kind of a gamble, which definitely could have gone the other way. But I just tried to use logic, thinking yeah, if as long as I get up there, then going down will basically go its own way, and it seems to work. So that's interesting to learn about electrical vehicles. Here, I don't know, it's pretty hard to see probably, but those are not mountains. Those are clouds. And we're now basically at the same height of the clouds. Going still downwards. Along the way we also have cows here and there. And not the lovely white cows that you can see very obviously. No, black cows. Black cows next to the road. Next to the fence, sort of, the guardrail, that you would see at the last moment. So keep that in mind. Going down or up, doesn't matter, there are cows here. And at darkness, it's gonna be fun. I'm back home again, and you wouldn't believe it at all, but the rangeometer, or whatever you want to call it, on the electric car now says more than when I even left. it was now at 185 miles radius or something, and I think when I left it was around 140 or something, for sure not over 140 miles. So from 35 being at the top of the mountain to getting down with 185 miles radius, that's, I think, I don't really know how it works, but I'm assuming that it just regenerates energy or something like that from going downhill, you know, like a dynamo effect or something. But I have actually no idea how electrical vehicles really work or something, or if that's even a thing or not. It's the first time I am driving one, like I said before, but I think it's quite interesting that it's not very often that a vehicle comes back with more juice in its system than when it leaves. That's quite interesting. So my gamble of logic worked out. Anyway, I also got some souvenirs, a few things. I'm gonna send things to my dad, so here's a cap. In here is a Christmas bowl made from plastic or something. But yeah, it's nice anyway. A pin for on my bag, a coin, collection coin, it's nice. This is a postcard from metal. You can actually send this. This is the first time I've seen a metal postcard that you can actually send. That's so cool. Like, I had seen wooden things or veneer or other kinds of different kinds of wood or something, but I've never seen a metal one before. So that's gonna be interesting. I'm definitely gonna send that. Of course, I got my magnet for my collection. So yeah, interesting to know is that you can sign your own sort of how would you even call this? That you accomplish this basically, which is this one, the House of the Sun. I survived the 37-mile drive up from sea level to the summit of Haleakala Volcano, which is 3,000 meters, one of the greatest elevation gains in the shortest distance in the world. Which is yeah, quite remarkable in fact. And you can also collect these stamps. So in the national parks in the United States, so this is one of them, you can collect those stamps for a stamp book if you have that, of course. I'm not planning on doing that, so for me it's fine to put it on a postcard thingy, which was for free. And yeah, also nice to know actually is that they give you information, like this sort of very big foldable information thing. It is 50-50 Hawaiian language, English. I find it quite remarkable and actually very good to see that they are still promoting the language, even though I heard it's 100% not used, but the pidgin is more used, but still. They put it in Hawaiian language, which it looks very fascinating to me. Anyway, it's time to get back to work.
And with that we conclude our volcanic adventures. What do you think of all the hiking options? Would you do it? Have you done it? Or would you just come and watch the sunrise or sunset? Thank you for watching and see you next time.